clean. I tell them it may be your detergent. That's why more dishwasher brands recommend Cascade Platinum. It's specially designed with the soaking, scrubbing, and rinsing built right in. Cascade Platinum's unique action packs dissolve quickly to remove stuck-on food for sparkling clean dishes the first time. Choose a detergent that lets your dishwasher do the dishes. Cascade Platinum, the #1 recommended brand in North America.
Tomorrow on ET, our New York night out, kicking it with Julia Roberts. Lots of fun.
Plus, American Idol goes live, and I'll be with the judges tonight.
I like to be the one that says what people are thinking.
Hey, before we go, tonight is the return of Better Call Saul. Can't wait for that on AMC.
Yes.
And today, Bob Odenkirk got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Congratulations.
Congrats, Bob, and bye-bye, everybody.
It's so surreal, right? It's like attending your own funeral.
I get buried here, right?
Happening now.
This morning's deadly fire on South Florida is raising the number of fire fatalities to 11 for the year. It's an unusually high number. Coming up, what officials want the public to know and how to keep your family safe.
Gas prices have come down, but it's still costing a lot to fill up your tank. Coming up, is it worth it to use gas, credit cards, or rewards programs? We'll take a look coming up.
A bit of a temperature drop to talk about. We'll get into those details and see if there's any chance of rain soon in just a bit. The News at 5 starts right now.
And first at 5, Converse firefighters had a busy afternoon putting out flames at a mobile home in the Converse Meadow Mobile Home Park. Fire officials got the call a little after noon today. They arrived to find heavy smoke billowing from the windows and roof. You can see they basically knocked a portion of the wall down to try to get inside that home.
Luckily, those flames were put out fairly quickly, and we're happy to report that no one was inside the home when it caught fire. The cause of those still being investigated. However, not the same outcome for a house fire on the south side this morning. The man who lived there didn't make it out alive for a number of very important reasons.
Burglar bars blocking the windows, no smoke detector, and more. It's all contributing to an uptick in fatal fires in our city. RJ Marquez on the trend and the effort to turn it around.
2022 is already shaping up as one of the deadliest years for fires in San Antonio.
Unfortunately, we have another fatality. This is number 11.
Only 4 months into the year, and the San Antonio Fire Department has investigated 11 deadly fires compared to 10 total last year. Early Monday morning, firefighters battled heavy flames and smoke in the back of a building in the 4300 block of South Florida Street, finding a man dead on the floor next to a wheelchair.
Once the fire was knocked down to a certain degree and we were able to go back in, that's when we found one person deceased.
Fire Department spokesperson Woody Woodward says the building was vacant and they are investigating how the victim got inside. But officials are making efforts to get the word out to people about fire safety.
We would remind the public to remember our new safety campaign, which is called SCAN.
The first 3 letters of the word SCAN stand for smoke detectors, clearing the path for escape, and action plan.
Smoke detectors, having an action plan in case there is a fire. You need to have access to get out of your home.
The last letter stands for neighbors, especially checking and connecting with older relatives vulnerable to fire dangers.
It's important to get out there and meet your neighbors, check on your family members, make sure they don't have too much clutter in their homes, make sure that they have working smoke detectors.
Woodward says many deaths this year have been preventable.
We're not going to solve this problem unless we get everyone in the community to do their part.
RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News.
Less than 48 hours after U.S. Paralympians' gold medals were stolen right out of his vehicle, they've been recovered. San Antonio police say the 3 medals were found at a West Side fire station today. They were taken from the victim's vehicle on Saturday at the Rim Shopping Center. This is surveillance video of the incident itself. The police department doesn't have the suspect in custody, so they're running the medals for fingerprints to try and find out who this person is.
2 men and a woman behind bars tonight following a shooting and a high-speed chase. San Antonio police say that it all started around 3 in the morning on Seguin Street, not too far from I-35. Police say they found an empty car riddled with bullet holes, and while they were there to investigate, a black Cadillac sped past them. Officers chased that car to the Oak Valley Apartments on Judson Road, and that's where 3 people jumped out and took off running. They were later arrested. No one was hurt.
The deadline to file your taxes is here. Today, the last day to file or request an extension. And this year, the IRS expecting tens of millions of last-minute filings. If you haven't filed yet, They're rushing through your return to get it filed. One tax expert has a piece of advice. Extend, don't amend. That's because if you file now and amend later, you're more likely to get a double look from the IRS. You can request an extension at irs.gov.
We've all seen it at the gas pump. Gas prices are still high, and many of us are looking for new ways to save.
But is getting a gas credit card or joining a warehouse club worth it? 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz looks at easy ways to stretch your gas dollars.
Gas prices have dropped nearly 40 cents in the past month. Still, a tankful can siphon your wallet.
I just filled up yesterday and it was $70, and I haven't ever spent over $55.
Apps like Gas Buddy, AAA, and Gas Guru can help you find the lowest prices. But what about applying for a credit card issued by a gas station or oil company? Is it worth it?
Many gas cards pay you back a few cents per gallon of gas, like 5 cents or 10 cents, rather than a percentage of your purchase. So when gas prices are moving up from $3 to $4 or $5, that benefit is worth a lot less.
Instead, she says, look for a credit card with no annual fee that offers rewards like 5% back on gas purchases. Even though many gas stations offer a lower price if you pay with cash instead of plastic, the card's cash back reward could be a better deal. One example is the City Custom Cash Card. It gives you 5% cash back on your top spending category each billing cycle for up to $500 in purchases. Just be sure to pay it off.
Warehouse clubs such as Sam's Club or Costco offer their own credit cards that pay you back a percentage on your gas purchases.
If you don't belong to a warehouse club, consider this. Their gas prices are often some of the lowest. Right now, locally, about $3.29 a gallon. The gas discounts alone may be worth the membership cost. There are plenty of apps that can save you money, like TrueNow or Get Upside. They can save you 25 cents a gallon. You take a picture of the receipt, load it into the app, and you get cash back. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
And from gas prices, we move to traffic problems, and we don't really have a whole lot to tell you about. This is 410 at San Pedro. I believe we're looking eastbound here. You can see westbound traffic is very heavy on 410 right now, but no major traffic tie-ups to tell you about.
And the weather definitely not getting in the way of traffic this afternoon. 67 this morning, a high temperature of 86 degrees. And we did make it to 90 degrees over the Easter weekend on Saturday, but temperatures are going to take a little bit of a dip here very briefly. We're going to talk about that later. But look at the warmth out west. 94 Del Rio, 93 Eagle Pass. Meanwhile, 75 in West Kerrville, 80 Seguin, 86 right now in Floresville. Even Utopia, 88 degrees, but 83 Universal City. So pleasant out there right now. A clear sky this evening, low humidity, comfortable temperatures. A beautiful evening and a beautiful night ahead of us. An east wind at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Will be 78 at 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 73 degrees. Then we drop into the 60s, and there will be a noticeable temperature drop for tomorrow. We're going to talk about that in more detail, what the temperatures will be and where, along with some hope for rain coming up.
Need that rain. Thank you, Adam. An emboldened act of defiance as surviving Ukrainians in Mariupol reject Russian demands to surrender or die.
Meantime, a barrage of Russian missiles hitting a city near NATO territory where thousands of families thought that they had escaped the worst of the war.
Mike Valerio has the latest as civilians make the horrific choice to flee or fight.
Smoke billows from Lviv, once thought as a refuge where thousands of families fled from Russian atrocities. Now, the western Ukrainian city near Poland grieves its first reported fatalities of the war. 4 missile strikes hit Lviv, killing at least 7 people. The blast wave shattered windows in a hotel where internally displaced Ukrainians were staying. The fighting is also intensifying in the east, where Tamara shelters with her grandson in Severodonetsk.
A lot of people can't leave this place because of problems with health, and they don't have enough money.
Ukrainian forces in Mariupol rejected a weekend ultimatum from Russia to, quote, surrender or die. Ukrainian troops are now surrounded within a massive steel plant, the last known pocket of resistance in the key port city.
The situation is very difficult in Mariupol. It's clear that things won't get better.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky tells CNN's Jake Tapper Russian forces took thousands of children from Mariupol, and it's unclear where they are now.
About 5,000 children deported from this region to Russian side because they didn't allow them to go to the Ukrainian side, the Ukrainian control side yet. That's it, so we don't know what is with that children. Where are they?
He adds Ukraine won't give up any territory in the east as a new Russian offensive is expected there in the coming days. I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
It is a life-saving liquid that we all need to live. It's at times in short supply, and that time is right now. The Easter holiday has meant a decline in donations for the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center. They're pushing for more people who are O negative to roll up their sleeves and do what they can to fill that critical need for blood. O negative is the universal blood type, and right now it's fluctuating between a supply of about a day's worth to a half day's worth. We need roughly 600 donations a day, and right now we're only getting about 350.
We had probably about a 4-day supply of overall blood types, which is great. But the reason behind those 4 days is because we're getting help from other communities.
If you are capable and willing to donate, you can visit our website, KSAT.com. We've got details there. There are also lots of incentives for donors, like free movie tickets and free admission to Six Flags.
April is National Donate Life Month. Its purpose is to spread awareness about why people should become organ donors. On Wednesday, Stephanie Jimenez will be hosting a KSAT Community Organ Donation Awareness Town Hall. You're going to hear from medical professionals as well as a person in need of an organ and an organ donor. You can watch the live stream on Wednesday at 2 p.m. It'll be on KSAT.com and all of our streaming platforms.
Turning now to COVID-19, cases are rising in more than half of U.S. states, and now hospitalizations are seeing an uptick as well. Most of this fueled by the Omicron subvariant. It's called BA2. ABC's Rena Roy with what officials in major U.S. cities are doing right now.
As new COVID cases rise once again coast to coast, a judge in Florida striking down the federal mask mandate on public transportation, which President Biden, along with the CDC, had extended until May 3rd. Now that extension effectively voided for passengers in airports, on planes, and any mode of public transportation, causing confusion for travelers as we await a likely appeal from the Biden administration. This as Philadelphia's indoor mask mandate goes back in effect.
We definitely do not want any type of shutdown, so that's why it's very important for us to stick to the mandates.
People are just generally have had enough of this sort of government overreach.
New infection rates up about 21% in the last week, and 14 states are seeing virus-related hospitalizations rise at least 10%. But hospital admissions overall remain low, creeping up only 2.7% across the country since last week. The latest increase in cases driven by Omicron subvariant BA2.
The good news on this, on BA2, is that our vaccines are holding up just fine. Especially if you're boosted, you're going to do fine. I don't expect a surge at all like what we saw in January. I think that is extremely unlikely, but we've got to take these things seriously, monitor it closely.
Many activities still going on as normal. Tens of thousands of runners participating in the Boston Marathon, and millions of Americans celebrating the holiday weekend.
It fills me up. It makes me feel whole again.
I'm happy to see that we could fill up the room again. It was quite lonely.
Officials urging people to get tested after holiday gatherings. Experts say the number of new cases is probably much higher, with most Americans not reporting home test results to officials, and even hospitals and states reporting new infections less consistently. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
It's been years since we celebrated Military USA by air, but this weekend we can. What to expect in the Great Texas Air Show put on by the United States Air Force. Our preview is next.
I'm Myra Arthur here in the newsroom. A look at what we're working on for the news at 6. Traffic is moving, but prices are not, at least not yet. We're still following the effects of the long lines of stalled 18-wheelers along the border. Those trucks are on their way now after those secondary inspections have been called off at most ports of entry. But you will likely feel the consequences at the grocery store for some time to come. Alicia Barrera takes us to a produce terminal market in McAllen, where importers at one point had less than a week's worth of produce on hand. Plus, it's the Jewish holiday of Passover. Many people don't know the celebration actually lasts a full week. Coming up at 6 o'clock, a local rabbi explains the significance of the holiday and how it affects people of many different religions. And it is not a place where high-profile drama plays out in criminal cases, but it is one that we should all know about. It is probate court. Erica Hernandez explains what happens in one of the county's busiest courtrooms. We'll have that and more tonight on the News at 6.
Thank you, Myra. The U.S. Air Force polishing up its aircraft. It's opening its doors to the public this weekend in San Antonio. It's all to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the U.S. military flights, and it's free to the public.
The Great Texas Air Show is this Saturday and Sunday. Organizers tell us there's a lot in store. It includes a number of different military and civilian flying displays, including the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds. Not just the show, though. There are numerous opportunities to learn about the history and future technology within the Air Force.
This air show to me is about everybody finally re-emerging after COVID, bringing the families out, getting a chance to see something truly unique. We've got a lot of jet noise, pyrotechnics. We've got a lot of static displays from all of the services. So we've got the Army, the U.S. Marine Corps, we've got the Navy, we've got the Air Force.
It's another one of those traditions that is finally getting to happen again. You can find more information about this weekend's event on KSAT.com right now.
It's a little early to be looking toward weather for the weekend, but could we expect some rain this week?
But we are anyway, right? Yes, we are. We're looking forward to looking ahead, I should say, to the weekend weather. As for rain chances, they're pretty slim here. There are a few opportunities, but don't get your hopes too high. There is one part of the 7-day forecast where I have higher hopes than others in terms of the potential for rainfall. Between now and then, a comfortable night, noticeably cooler tomorrow with some small rain chances on the way, even starting tomorrow. Take a look at our temperature trend. Tomorrow, I think in San Antonio, we'll be in the mid-70s, about 76 degrees for the high temperature. So actually below our average of 81 for a change. But then it's going to be brief. By Wednesday, back into the 80s, and then Thursday through the upcoming weekend, we're back to 90 degrees at that point. So let's talk about where we are now and then where we're going and what the temperatures will be all across our area. 85 currently, a dew point of 50. We had a weak cool front move through, and that dew point is down to only 50 degrees, so you don't feel any mugginess in the air, that east-northeasterly wind at 15. Hondo 88 along with Uvalde, a little bit warmer, closer to the Rio Grande, even Cotulla 94, Del Rio officially 93 degrees, New Braunfels meanwhile 80, Canyon Lake not bad at 78 and Seguin 79. By tomorrow morning, we'll see temperatures dip down into the upper 50s for most of us. Seguin about 57, Converse, Port SA 59, and Rio Medina 57. Look what happens by tomorrow afternoon, partially because of significant cloud cover, providing us with natural shade, but we're talking widespread 70s. Converse 77, 75 Bernie along with Bulverde, 78 New Braunfels tomorrow, Comfort 77 in Kerrville, a high temperature of 75. So there's that brief cool down for tomorrow, then temperatures climb back up again. There is a shot at a bit of moisture tomorrow. It's not going to be anything special, but let's talk about it now. Our overall weather pattern, quiet across the state today, a lot of sunshine. It's still an active pattern. There's some activity across the lower 48 right now. You see especially Great Lakes eastward to the mid-Atlantic, dynamic system there, and then another system coming onshore in the Pacific Northwest, providing those locations with moisture. Unfortunately, not us, at least quite yet. Now, here's what we're anticipating with our future casts, and I like how it really shows what's going to happen through the night. Clear tonight, a very pleasant night, comfortable temperatures, low humidity. Tomorrow morning, we'll have a little bit of sunshine at sunrise, then the clouds quickly fill in our sky, and it's going to look like it could rain at any moment for most of the day tomorrow, a mainly gray day. Notice at noon, low clouds, then we get into the afternoon. Just a few spritzes and sprinkles here and there, maybe 0.05 of an inch to 1/10 of an inch if you're lucky. So insignificant, not making a difference, just more of a tease than anything tomorrow. Here's your KSAT 12-day forecast. So 58 at 7 a.m. By noon tomorrow, that's when we get up to 70 degrees, 20% chance. That's it. We go through the afternoon, low gray clouds, temps in the mid 70s for most of us, and a 20% chance. I do have higher hopes for Monday. Yeah, I know. A week from today. Right now we have it at 30% chance. However, if there's any day with higher potential to maybe see those chances rise, it's next Monday.
Oh, okay. Long wait. Thank you.
All right. There is a Spur that is a finalist for a postseason award, Greg.
Yeah, in the NBA. And given the fact they had such a struggling season up and down, this is quite an accomplishment for a guy like DeJounte Murray. When we come back, we'll let you know what he's in the race for and how he became a finalist and what a finish in the NBA playoffs. Coming up. DeJounte Murray is now a finalist in the NBA's Most Improved Player Award. That was announced by the league on Sunday. He is among 3 finalists. That includes Ja Morant of the Memphis Grizzlies, Darius Garland of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Murray is coming off his most successful season yet and was recognized as an all-star for the first time in his career. He had 13 triple-doubles this season, 18 for his career, improved in every category. Just check out his stats compared to this time last year. When you take a look at 2021 and 2022, he's improved among minutes, also among points per game, up to over 21, shooting percentage over 46 now. Rebounds per game over 8, and assists per game way up to 9.2. The NBA playoffs are underway after eliminating the Spurs. A reward for the New Orleans Pelicans was to play the number 1 seed Suns in Phoenix to tip off a 7-game postseason series. Suns would get out to as much as a 23-point lead in this game thanks to Devin Booker's 25 points to help Phoenix out to a 53-34 lead at halftime. But to the Pelicans' credit, they rallied in the third quarter. Larry Nance Jr. was on fire. This basket cut the lead down to 79-71 going into the fourth quarter. But here's a stat that's hard to beat. The Suns are 47-0 when leading after 3 quarters, and that did not change last night thanks to Chris Paul, who has never won a championship after falling short to the Bucks last year. He went off in the fourth quarter, scoring 19 of his 30 points, looking more like a 26-year-old rather than a 36-year-old. The 110-99 victory take a 1-0 lead. The best game on Sunday had to be Brooklyn and Boston. Kyrie Irving had a message for Celtic fans who heckled him on his return to Boston as a member of the Nets, and the game lived up to the rivalry. After being tied at halftime, the Celtics try and break it open in the third quarter. Marcus Smart gets a steal in the slam. It's down to Boston now lead by 15, but Brooklyn bounces back in the fourth quarter. Irving scored a game-high 39 points that included 6 3-pointers, pushed the Nets out to a 114-111 lead with less than a minute to play. Now with just seconds to play, Nets lead was down to 1. Smart dishes it to Jason Tatum. Look at that. Spins that to the basket, makes the layup, and just as time expires, Boston pulls out game 1, 115-114. Tatum finishes with 31, including the game winner. The Boston Marathon returned today as a spring event for the first time since the COVID pandemic. 28,000 runners participated in the 126-year-old event, and Evans Chebet of Kenya won the Boston Marathon for the men with a time of 2 hours, 6 minutes, and 51 seconds. For the women, it was the reigning Olympic champion, Paris Chepchirchir, with a time of 2 hours, 21 minutes, and 1 second. It's just great to see it back, great to see it where it belongs, and great to see the competition once again.
Absolutely. Thank you, Greg.
We'll be right back.
Tomorrow, fairly gray day with just a few very light showers here and there. About 20 to 30% coverage. 58 in the morning, only 76 by the afternoon. I want to point out, a bit windy here every day. Southeasterly winds 10 to 20, gusting at times up to 30 tomorrow, all the way through the weekend. And there's that warming trend near 90 by Thursday.
Thanks so much, Adam, and thank you for watching the News at 5.
World News up next. We'll see you back here at 6.